there! We are delighted to have you back with us for this week's edition of the Industrial Cyber Weekly Roundup, where we update you on all the latest developments in industrial cybersecurity. I'm your host, Bailey Hamilton, and this has been the third week of 2023. It's been a particularly exciting week too, so let's get started. Recent weeks and months have witnessed a surge in ransomware hackers targeting critical infrastructure installations. These routine attacks make it necessary to safeguard these sites from further destruction. Attacks on hospitals, a railway corporation, a harbor, a mining facility, a postal service provider, and government organizations are now commonplace, leading to serious ramifications. To counter this growing threat, critical infrastructure organizations must increase coordination with allies, develop and share appropriate cybersecurity standards, identify and address vulnerabilities at these sites, and also develop federal strategies for deterrence options against cyber threats. The U.S. CISA released its 2022 year in review, covering the accomplishments of the agency and its partners over the past year in protecting the nation's critical infrastructure. It also focused on the importance of comprehending, monitoring, and minimizing the potential threats posed to both cyber and physical infrastructure systems. The agency also covered key achievements in ensuring secure and resilient critical infrastructure for the American people, while relying on collaboration with every industry, federal, state, local, tribal, territorial, and international governments, plus nonprofits, academia, and the research community. On January 16th, two key EU directives on critical and digital infrastructure came into force, strengthening the region's resilience against online and offline threats such as cyber attacks, crime, risk to public health, or natural disasters. The directives include the NIS2 directive, which covers measures for a high common level of cybersecurity across the Union, and the CER directive, which works to widen its scope across critical sectors and bring about more unified cybersecurity rules in the region. Australia's Cyber and Infrastructure Security Centre released its Risk Assessment Advisory for critical infrastructure across the energy sector. The document underlines the importance of stakeholders revising their risk management strategies to accurately detect risks that are related to the operation of assets integral to a country's economic and social well-being. Through the provisions of suggested risk assessment approaches, the assessment assists sector stakeholders to adapt existing risk practices and helps organizations understand risks within the national critical infrastructure context. The UITP published a general framework to help public transport and railway operators integrate cybersecurity requirements into their process, whenever the system under construction to be purchased can be considered OT-related. The model aims to provide public transport operators and authorities, procurement officers, and CISOs and CIOs with a comprehensive set of tools and best practices that can be adopted in their procurement process. CISA also published security advisories highlighting crucial hardware vulnerabilities identified across ICS devices used across multiple critical infrastructure sectors. These products come from various vendors, including Siemens, Soeo, In-Hand Networks, Solder Controls, Hitachi Energy, and Johnson Controls. The Health Sector Cybersecurity Coordination Center, or HC3, under the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, revealed that cybersecurity threats toward healthcare and public health were still ongoing in the fourth quarter of 2022. The HC3 bulletin features alerts, briefs, and other advisories pertinent to the well-being of the healthcare sector and public health. It further outlines various threats, vulnerabilities, and technical information that has been reported in this period. According to Nozomi Network's latest OT-IoT security report for the last 6 months of 2022, disruptive and malicious cyber attacks on vital infrastructures such as energy, hospitals, rail, and manufacturing sectors have persisted and remain a critical issue. The San Francisco-based company reported that it also tracked hacktivists causing disruptive attacks, thefts of technology source code, and use of wiper malware. In view of the expanding nature of cyber threats, it is important for businesses to recognize how threat actors are targeting OT and IoT devices that are connected to critical infrastructure. In its cybersecurity report for 2022, Group IB analyzed cyber attacks, examined how the cybercrime industry functions, and forecasted upcoming changes in the threat landscape for various sectors of the global economy to build cybersecurity strategies with relevant threats in mind. The report disclosed increased activity from hackers in light of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Ransomware remains a key threat for all industries, access offered on underground markets, and a rising trend of attacks on employees. Mandiant researchers analyzed a dataset of over 1,700 unique industrial-themed phishing samples delivered to organizations worldwide in 2022. The team built the dataset using a specialized set of industrial-related keywords to search through millions of samples and pinpoint phishing emails impersonating email communications from personnel operating or handling OT and industrial processes. Researchers from Clarity's Team 82 unit uncovered 5 exploitable vulnerabilities in GE Digital's Prophecy Historian server, affecting multiple critical infrastructure sectors. These security loopholes can be used by threat actors to access the historian, crash the device, or remotely execute code. The vulnerabilities are particularly concerning to the ICS and OT environments, as these historian servers share process information with enterprise systems, thereby creating an attractive pivot point for attackers to move from the IT network to OT systems. This concludes our weekly roundup. Head over to industrialcyber.co to explore the complete stories, get updates on industry news and events, and related resources. And we look forward to catching up with you next week.